Pointer, and this is my assignment over transforming sprites. And so the first thing I did with this is I created folders to keep it organized. So in the assets folder, I added scripts and sprites. Shouldn't be in settings, but I couldn't change it. And so I initially did my GitHub repo first when initializing this. And so I'll have that put up. But the way that you can add the assets, you can import a new asset this way, or I can go to my sprites, import it from here. I could drag it from my files if I wanted to add a new one. I have my 3 that I've been working with. I used the bullet, the meteor, and the starship. So first, I created objects here, create empty. And so once it was empty, I named it meteor, and then I dragged the sprite. Hold on. Let me lock this. And so I dragged the sprite to the sprite renderer to this area, and now we have this is the meteor sprite. Once that was done, started working on the first script, which is a change color one, and we assigned it a value as well so that it didn't come back null. And so let's go over to our C#, go to our color change, and this is the first one that we did in class. So making sure that we have all our Unity using systems in there so that they know what we're going to be using. And then, so first on the to-do list was create a variable to hold our sprite renderer component. And so it's private because we don't need the designers to work on this. We want it to stay stable and in our control. But what we are creating public and the designers would be able to control, which is easier and less time consuming for us, is the color. I changed it to blue. And so when the program is first initialized under the awake, it's going to be, we're going to use a sprite renderer, this game object component. So this game object, we're going to be able to use the get component later, and this lets the program know what we're referring to, which is a game object. So whenever we're starting, we want to make sure that the sprite renderer, if it's null, this is a debugging error, so we know exactly what's going on or what's wrong in our code. And this helps save time and makes the code cleaner. And so if there's a null and nothing there, which is what I referred to earlier, and that means this will pop up. I could also change this to error. And then we have the to-do. Change the color of our sprite to blue. So now the sprite renderer color is the sprite color, which is what I declared right here, and something that could be changed. Now we have the update. So this is what happens every frame. So this is checking every frame if this is going to be run. So this is the get component that I was talking about earlier. We're going to need the input systems for that. And so we have get key down, key code P. So this only happens if it's once. And so the sprite color is going to get a random color. But what does get random color mean? I just declared that it doesn't have any meaning yet. And so below that, I did private color get random color. So color equals color. This is what we're referring to, the variable. And so red, green, and blue. Those are our main colors. This is what it's going to vary from. And it's going to have a random range from 0 to 1. And then we always want to make sure the alpha is initialized as well, or else it'll go transparent. And so that's always going to be 1, and then it's going to return the color and run that code. And so that's just for this one. That's what we did in class. Now, when we want to transform something, this is what I changed it to. And so we have However, using the same again, mono behavior. Now we're going to do a private sprite render, same as we did last time. And we're also going to declare a variable, which is the float move speed. It's going to be F5 speed. Again, we're going to wait. So when this program starts, I want the computer to know that the component I'm referring to is the game object. And so whenever I press start, if the sprite renderer is null, then we want to debug error sprite renderer is null, else we want to transform the position. So just on start, we're already changing the position. Because this is a 2D game and not a 3D game, I don't need this last one, so that's always going to stay 0. These other ones are moving, so it was originally at 0. It's going to start at 2.2. And because I had a lot of different ones, so initially it's set at 0, but we're overriding it right here. And then we're going to update it. So if the get key down is P, then they're transforming position to 4.4. So it's going to move up 2 and over 2. This is just simple movement. So this, I think the get key down, it would be better than just the get key for this one especially. So it's not just moving, or I would need to put a lot more different variables for how it could move. This one, whenever we just use the get key right here, this could change in multiple different colors. So let's go over here and run it and see how they look. Once it runs, I'll show you how I added it to there. Okay, so everything's changed to blue. I'm pressing the P, and not only did it move over and up to, it also changed colors. And it's, as I keep on pressing the P, it's changing colors, but it's not moving positions because I didn't put in many variables for it to do that. We can check on our console. The object type change color has been destroyed, but you're still trying to access it. So that's why it's still changing colors. I did put on a quit on escape. We can stop this, go to our project. I'll show you, go to our scripts. And I have, these are my 3 scripts I have. So first I use the move position one, or the change color one. You can see it on my meteor. Starship has both of them. And so I drag this over to my move position once I had these, and just drug it over there, and then I added that component as well. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is quit on escape. And so this is just how I were able to escape so we're not stuck in the game continuously. And so let me bring up the code. It's fairly simple. We're not doing anything on start. This is for every frame. If there is a key down or escape key press, then the application will quit. It's just a way of we're able to quit and we're not just stuck in that same position, especially when we're sending things. So now we're going to create a build of this. So save in project, and then build and run, build profiles. I already have mine built. Everything is good. You open Seamless just to make sure we have everything. Go back to Windows. It's on there. And then build. I added a different folder for that. My documents for my project builds. And this is it. It's something that I can send easier without all the unnecessary information. The next section is just showing my GitHub process, but I also wanted to discuss some of the things that we went over today. And so we have game object, which is just a object that we're putting in the game. It means nothing. It has nothing to that. We need to build to it, and so it has components. Those components are the things that make it what it is. And so it'll have like if we want to, build a banana, it'll have like a skin component for the banana skin. It'll have the actual inside, and it'll have the stem. Everything is broken down by what it is, the functions and whatnot, and then to create a whole complete object. But that's how in Unity we are able to create different things with different components and using other components for different things, for different objects. We also went over public and private. So public, it means that anybody can access it, as in anybody, any of the designers that we'll be working with are going to be able to access it easier. And private means that only the person, it's only inside this class, and it's something that we're controlling more. So it's a good thing to differentiate those when we get into the real world, working world.